So we are knee deep in a lot of the projects that are going to make this boat ready to be an offshore long distance cruising machine. And my goal this week is going to be to make sure that everything is 100% ready for us to install our solar panels, which is going to be a huge step forward in making sure that the boat is ready to go anywhere. As a disclaimer, this is not like 100% how to do it.
I'm getting to a project which we've been meaning to do for a really long time.
Remember, your first goal is to fend. I don't know exactly what's going to go down.
Ooh, one more step to being self-sufficient.
I'm Desiree, and this is my husband, Jordan. We're sailing around the world, or at least trying to. We made it as far as Panama on our first boat, Atticus 1, which was a really small fixer-upper. Now we're on our dream sailboat, Atticus 2, but she needs some work before she's ready to cross oceans.
So we're working hard to finish up the last of our boat projects so we can set sail on our biggest adventure yet, crossing the Atlantic Ocean.
So before I can finish the antenna installations that I started last week, I've got to receive a couple of connectors that I've ordered already. They should arrive in the next couple of days. So for now, I'm going to jump back into wiring for the solar panels. You may remember that I've already installed the Victron charge controllers. So now what I've got to do is the rest of the wiring from these charge controllers all the way to the charge bus in that electrical compartment that we worked on back up in Maine. So one thing we really want to avoid is the insulation of these wires getting chafed through where they pass through a hole in the bulkhead or the plywood. So to prevent that, I oversize the hole and then shove in a piece of reinforced rubber hose, and that acts as a grommet. I do want to mention that the way that these solar charge controllers and solar panels integrate into the whole electrical system is all a part of the electrical system design that Ocean Planet Energy worked out for us. Figuring out all the details of a good solar system is a complex undertaking, and Ocean Planet Energy was able to really walk me through how much solar we would need to accomplish our electrical goals, how to decipher the specifications on different solar panels, and it would have been super hard to do this without them.
Well, today I am back in the boatyard because I'm here to pick up our mainsail and our Genoa sail so that I can take those sails, wrap them up, and send them off to Bacon Sails. And Bacon Sails, as I understand it, sells used sails on consignment, so we'll go ahead and put a link to those sails in the description below. And if you're looking for high-performance racing sails for a Pacific Seacraft 40, these might be for you. For us, since we don't plan on hardcore racing Atticus 2, we decided to work with Precision Sails to design and upgrade our sail inventory so that they're more oriented to our cruising lifestyle. Alright, so I've got those sails shipping off to Annapolis. Used their cheapest ground shipping option and it was $200, which is pretty pricey, but hopefully they'll find a happy new home soon.
Alright, so today we are about to end the saga of the antenna installation. So you may remember last week that I ordered the wrong connectors, then I ordered the wrong connectors again, but now I have ordered the correct connectors, and I'm going to crimp these on now so that we can finish up our WeBoost antenna installation. So this is a process that I am not very familiar with. As a disclaimer, this is not like 100% how to do it. Okay, so there you go.
Bada bing, bada electrician.
One thing that I gotta express that's making this difficult, I mean, it's such little minute movements and small pieces that I'm dealing with, but as I'm doing it, like there's a little bit of wind and chop today, so the boat's like moving. So I'm like doing this, like trying to get these little pieces together just right. So this was actually my very first time soldering anything, and so I was pretty nervous. Yes, I can't believe I did that. last step with this antenna project was to finally install the Iridium Go antenna. You may remember last week that we discovered that the antenna needed to be extended up a couple inches in order to not contact the solar panels. And this week, Pacific Seacraft was able to fabricate an extension plate based on the drawings that I sent them. And it turns out that the plate fit perfect. We did it. We did it. Your breath smells really bad. Alright, so now that we got the Iridium Go antenna set up, we got the Iridium Go permanently mounted on the bulkhead here at the nav station, we're gonna give it a test run. Basically, the Iridium Go is used as a satellite communication device. So we can use it to make phone calls, we can use it to send messages and emails to people while we're way off grid or way offshore. But the biggest thing I'm excited about is we can use it to download really high quality weather information from Predict Wind. And just for fun, I'm actually gonna do weather routing. So I'm gonna set my starting point right over here near the Beaufort Inlet, and then I'm gonna have my end point be over here at the Azores. And then I just go over here to download. I can tell it everything that I want to download, which is cool because satellite communication is really slow. I mean, it's fast for what it is, but it's really slow compared to what we're used to. And so it's nice to be able to just download exactly what we want so that the download can kind of go quicker. And what I'm excited about now is that because we've got that Iridium Go antenna permanently mounted on top of the solar arch, that's going to really increase the speed and reliability of our ability to connect and download weather information. And so already we're connected and it's ready to start downloading stuff. All right, so the download is complete, and here you go. So you can see, we've got several different weather routing options depending on the different forecast models. It's pretty awesome to see that we can get up to the minute weather routing that will utilize all of the latest information and forecasting data, and we can access all of that information quickly, easily, and we can just sort of integrate this whole procedure into our offshore sailing routine.
All right, well today I'm getting to a project which we've been meaning to do for a really long time. I am going to get into these water tanks, scrub them down, clean them, and then I'm gonna flush the system with chlorine once and for all so that even if we don't get our water maker anytime soon, we can comfortably drink water out of the tanks. Our first water tank is underneath the V-berth, so I'm just gonna pull all these sheets back. All right, so these are my three weapons. I think the toilet brush cleaner is going to be my most effective tool. All right, one side down. Now I'm going to open up the other access point and do the same process by cleaning out all the surfaces with the toilet brush scrub. It's like playing Operation Ow. And some dish detergent. And then I'm gonna flush both tanks with a ton of fresh water. Last step, I've scuffed up the perimeter of these access plates. I'm gonna apply some sealant, reuse the bolts, and close up these water tanks, and hopefully never have to do that again.
Next, Jordan is going to remove our Seagull drinking water filter, and I'm going to add a certain amount of chlorine to the tank to shock treat the entire water system. Then I'll fill the tank completely with water and run all the faucets on the boat until I smell chlorine coming through each tap to make sure that the chlorine mixture is penetrating each and every nook of the water system.
Ooh, there's still antifreeze in that one.
Including the valves, hoses, faucets, and pumps. After letting the shock treatment sit for 4 hours, I'll drain the tanks completely by running all of the faucets again, and I'll refill and drain the tanks with non-chlorinated water as many times as it takes to no longer smell chlorine coming through the faucets.
I can't even smell anymore.
All right, so we are totally shocked and treated, and I'm hoping that this is gonna be the most delicious glass of water that I've ever had in my life. Let's see. I can say that there's like zero taste. That's a win. So basically, I mean, Desiree cleaning out the tanks and shock treating the system is all a part of our attempt to make sure that our water system is foolproof and ready for the Atlantic crossing. Now, after we shocked the system, I replaced the filter on the Seagull water filter. We also have a filter on the hose that we use that makes sure that the water coming into the tanks is going to be relatively clean. So it's kind of like a double filter system, right? Coming onto the boat and then going into our water bottles. We have 122 gallons of water tankage on the boat, and that's split over 3 different tanks. There was a study done not long ago that surveyed all the boats that sailed across the Atlantic with the ARC, and on average they had 500 liters of water on board, which I believe is about 133 gallons. And so that's 10 gallons more than we have. So we have more water than like 2/5 of the boats that are crossing the Atlantic in the ARC. And we're obviously going to have to really conserve that water during the crossing. Like, we can't just take long showers and do whatever we want with it, but we are going to be able to have plenty of water for that trip. Now, we don't have a water maker. We are planning on installing one in the future, but we just don't have the time right now. We need to get sailing and get some miles under the keel, and so that will be a project for another day. But for now, just filling up at docks every now and then is something that'll work perfectly fine for us. All right, so today is an exciting day because we're hoping to install the solar panels, but before we do that, we gotta do something a little bit stressful, which is turn the boat around in the slip. I'm okay at handling this boat in reverse, but now with this new structure up, there's gonna be a whole new learning curve. I'm a little nervous. I don't know exactly what's going to go down. We're going to get real close to some of these pilings.
Okay, we're clear of the forward piling.
All right, I'm going to come forward, so stay up there. Hand him that and then fend the port side. If you just do that piling, then we're all set. Thanks, bud. Okay, that's good for now. Yeah. All right, so we are ready to put these solar panels up, but before we put them up, I gotta fix one quick thing, and that is the U-bolts on this new Iridium Go antenna extension plate are too long, and they will contact the solar panel frame if I don't shorten them. Well, looks great, man.
Woohoo, one more step to being self-sufficient.
Okay, so I'll clean these wires up later, but let's go down and see how much juice we're producing. 22 amps. That's pretty sweet. And that's with, like, it's powering this computer, it's powering all the lights, and pumping 22 amps into the battery, so that's exciting. Okay, so one of the last things that we need to do now to get this whole arch finished is install the new stern light, which is gonna go right here. It'll be well above the dinghy if we're stowing it in the davits, and it'll be aft of everything. You'll be able to see it just about no matter what.